episode 3. I'm the Pied Piper, and in this episode I'm going to show you some basic usage of Backtrack and some basic commands that you need to know in the bash shell, which is the common shell used in most Linux operating systems today and is included in Backtrack. So you should have followed my previous tutorial where I showed you how to install Backtrack as a virtual machine inside of VirtualBox, and we're going to continue on from that, and I'm going to show you some stuff that I should have showed you in the previous tutorial but forgot. I apologize for that. Now, I also wanted to mention that I know I haven't done anything really hacking related yet, but we're getting there. I just want to build a foundation and get you to know the basics and the going-ons before we go and proceed into the hacking related stuff. So that's why I'm doing this tutorial today, just to show you some terminal commands, because you have to walk before you can run, right? So I have to show you stuff, and you need to learn this stuff before we can get onto the interesting and fun stuff. So go ahead, launch VirtualBox, and just start your virtual machine. And we'll start that up. Alright, so unlike going from the live CD or the live ISO file, we get prompted for a login this time, and you'll need to log in as root, and the default password at the start is toor, T-O-O-R, root backwards. Press enter and that will log you in. Now you'll be prompted with this screen. It just says to start the graphical interface, type start X, and the default password is toor, which we already know. Now we're going to change our password from toor to something else so some evil hackers don't hack us. So we can do this by typing the command pass wd, press enter, and you'll be prompted to enter a new Unix password. So enter that now and press enter. You won't see it appear, don't worry, just that's normal. So type it again and it should say your password updated successfully. Now our screen's looking a little bit untidy at the moment, so let's clean it up by using the clear command. Pretty straightforward. And we can just see that we've got this syntax over here. We've got the root, which is our username, @ and bt, which is our computer name, and you can see that we've got this sharp type, I forget what it's called, symbol, that will appear when you're logged in as root as on any Linux machine. When you're logged in as a standard user, you'll get a $sign, but that's not the case with Backtrack, as you do most stuff in root, because most of the applications you use require root. Now, you can do most of your hacking stuff through here if you want to be really elite, but I recommend you start the graphical interface, and most people would start the graphical interface because you can have multiple terminals up, you can display information on the side that you may require to do stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start the graphical interface by typing the start X command, press enter, and that will start up the graphical interface for us. Alright, so as you can see, we've now got a graphical interface. I showed you this in the previous tutorial. But you may notice that we've got a tiny screen and we've got all this grey space, and that's what we're going to fix up now. So what we need to do is install the VirtualBox drivers so we can allow that access. So we can do this by going devices, install guest nodes. Now if you don't get an auto run up and you've got the CD there, just right click that CD, eject, and just do it again, and it should pop up this time. And there we go. It says opening auto run prompt. You want to do that, just press a K and run, and it'll go through the terminal and install all the drivers that you require for VirtualBox. and this will enable us to have full screen, shared folders, access, and I think some other features in VirtualBox. So just let that run through. That might take a little bit of time, and we'll just let it go. Alright, so once it's done, it should say press return to close this window. Just press return or enter, and there we go, it closed off. We'll need to restart for these drivers to take effect, so let's do that now. Go system, shutdown, and restart. And that will restart our virtual machine. Alright, so log in as root again, and enter your password you used. And we'll be prompted with this screen, so we're going to start the graphical interface, start X, and there we go. You notice that all this screen has gone and we get that full area of the screen. So I'm going to switch to full screen mode, which will make it full screen and you won't even see windows. So now that we've got our graphical interface running in Backtrack, I'm going to launch the terminal. You can do this several ways by just pressing the terminal up here, or you can go applications and accessories and terminal. Now some people call this the console terminal, and the terminal is just basically like CMD, just with different commands. It's just a Linux based command line. So we're going to maximize this by pressing the up arrow to maximize the window, and you'll notice that the syntax is the same as we saw in that black window. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some basic commands that you'll probably use in the future, and we're going to build on this in the next couple of tutorials. So you should learn this stuff and just be comfortable with using the command line. So the first command is probably the basic command, and it's probably the most universal command, which is echo. And I'm just going to type hello world. You can type whatever you want after the echo command. So echo hello world, press enter, and you see that our terminal has printed the hello world. Now you may say, well, that's not very useful, but we'll use that later in this tutorial. I'll show you a use for that. And let's go ahead and try another command. CD. This works in CMD as well as the bash shell. So CD slash will take us right to the root directory, just like if you would just enter the C drive on Windows, you'd see Windows program files and that sort of thing. And this is the same with Linux. So CD /. Now let's see what folders and files are contained in this folder. So we can go ls. Now I forgot to mention this, but like a terminal, when you're using the files and folders, you can only see that we're in this folder root, and we have access. We can only see that folder. We can't see any other folders in the other folders. We can only see what's contained in that folder, and we can access functions for that file. And the same is with the terminal. Your current directory is like being in this root thing, being in a folder or something, and the commands apply to that folder or what's contained in that folder. I know I can't really explain it that well, but you'll begin to understand how it works and get used to the concept. So as you can see, we've got these blue syntax or blue font folders are the folders. So we've got bin, boot, CD-ROM, dev, etc., home, lib, lost plus found, media, so on and so on. So we've got a bunch of folders in here, and we can view it all in one list if we want by typing ls dash 1. And the Linux uses the dash, CMD uses forward slash followed by the parameter. So here we can see that we've got one parameter and dash 1, which is referencing for that command and for that command to put it in one list, output it in one list. So as you can see, we printed all the folders just like we did in this command, but this time we put a parameter and we put the 1, so it printed one list. We can also use the ls-a to print everything in that folder, including hidden folders and that sort of thing. So as you can see, this time we've included the dot dot and dot command. cd dot just prints the current directory, but cd dot dot goes back a directory. But I can't show you that now because we're in the most bottom directory, so we can't go back any further. Most of the stuff contained within Backtrack, most of the hacking applications, etc., are contained in the pentest directory. So we'll type that in and explore that. So cd pentest, and you can notice that our root at Backtrack, and you can see that we're in the pentest directory here. So I'm going to view all the folders in here, so type the ls command, and you can see that we've got several folders here. We've got enumeration, forensic, libs, miscellaneous, Python, etc., etc. Now I'm going to check out the passwords directory, and we don't have to always type the whole word in. We can type part of the word and we'll leave it to Backtrack to guess the rest. So we can press tab, and that will finish the command or folder off for us, and press enter, and you'll notice that we've entered the password directory. Let's see what folders and files are in here. ls, and we have a bunch of folders. I'm going to go into the word list directory, so I'm going to type word, press tab and enter, and we're in the word list directory. Again, I'm going to see what files and folders are in here, and you can see that we've got one file in here called darkcode.lst. Now, I'm assuming that this is a dictionary file for cracking passwords. So we can see the contents of that file by typing the command cat and darkcode, press tab to finish it off again, and press enter. And that will print out the contents of that file. As you can see, there's hundreds and hundreds of words in this file, so I'm not going to go through them because it'll take a long time to print all those words. So we can end this or kill this command by pressing Ctrl C, and that'll kill it instantly. As you can see in the last output, we've got this little up arrow and the C. That means we cut the command. We can also suspend or pause a job by pressing Ctrl Z, but I'm not going to show that now. Now, our screen's looking a bit unclean, so we can type the clear command again, and we're back here. Now, I'm interested to see how many words are in that file, so I'm going to type the wc word count command, and I'm going to put the file and press enter. And as you can see, it's printed a bunch of numbers. This first number here is the amount of bytes that file is using. This second number here is the amount of words contained in that file. So it's got 1,828,854 words. And this last number here is the amount of characters contained in the file, and it's just printed that word list name here. So we can just filter that output, and we can see what other options are available for the word count command. We can do this by typing wc-h, and it might say -h is an invalid option. Now, some programs use -h to access the help file, and some use the --help. And as you can see, I succeeded in printing the help file for that command. So we can type, as you can see here, that we've got the dash W parameter, or the dash dash words will print the word count. So we'll do that now. So wc code.lst, and I forgot here we can see the syntax. So wc, the options followed by the file name. So I'm just gonna, I did that wrong. wc dash w. We don't need to include any other data, and press enter. And as you can see, it printed just the amount of words, just like we asked in that command. Now, I know this may seem a little confusing, but you'll pick it up and you'll be like, wow, I can do a lot of stuff in this shell. You don't need word to count the words. So I'm going to clear that screen, and well, some word lists contain a lot of great words that people use in passwords, but Lady Gaga is getting pretty cool, and I don't think that this word list would have Lady Gaga. Like, some people might use Lady Gaga as their password. So let's see if our word list contains that word, Lady Gaga. So we can do this by typing in the cat command, the file that we're catting. Then we're going to pipe the output through by using the straight thing below the backspace and on top of the command by pressing shift and the backslash button, and that will pipe the output. So whatever output goes through the cat.code.lst, we're putting that output into another command, and we can do this as many times as we want. So we're taking the words that are printed in our terminal, and we're throwing them into another command, which we're going to use the grep command. Now this takes and finds specific words and phrases. So we're going to do grep and Lady Gaga. And this allows us to search the whole file very easily. We don't have to scroll through and see if Lady Gaga is contained in the file. So we're going to press enter, and as you can see, nothing happened and it didn't print anything. So this means that our word is not contained within that file. So we're going to add Lady Gaga to our word list, and we can do this by typing echo, the first command we used, and Lady Gaga. And this time we're going to append the output of that into a file. So one right bracket would just put Lady Gaga into that file, but we'd get rid of everything else. We don't want to do that. We want to have the content that it had before and add Lady Gaga. So we're going to use two right brackets. And then we're going to put our file name, press enter. Now we're going to do the previous command that we did with the grep, and we can access that easily by pressing the up and down arrow. So up will go up a command, down will go down a command. So I'm pressing up now, I'm pressing down, and up, up. So that was our second last command. And we can do that now, and as you can see, our terminal printed that word. So now we know that Lady Gaga is contained within that file. So I'm going to clear the screen again, and we're going to go back to our root directory cd/, and we're back there. Now I forgot to tell you that just typing cd will get us into our home directory, which we'll access next. So cd/ again, and let's print our folders and files. And let's go into the bin directory, and I'll show you something interesting. So cd bin, let's view all the files in here. Now as you can see, we've got several executable. The green means executable, and you'll notice some common things if you look carefully. Notice that we've got ls here, And what else do we have? We have the echo command here. So as you can see that we've got our grep command here. Now all these things you see here are just programs where when we execute that command, we're just running a program. We're giving it data, we're giving it parameters, and that program's outputting information to the user. So from that command we can get several information, and these are pretty much most of the common commands included in the bash shell. Now we're going to go ahead and do some file manipulation. Now we're going to go to our home directory, which is just basically documents for Linux. So we're going to type in the cd command as I said, and you can see that we don't have any, we have this little squiggly line, and if we type that little squiggly line in, we go back to our home directory. So we're going to create a file within the shell. You can do a lot of things within the shell. So we're going to type the nano command, which is a terminal-based text editor. There's by, which is more complex. So we're going to type nano, and our file name, I'm just going to call it hello world. And unlike Windows, you don't need to specify what type of file it is, but if you need to run that file, say if you're writing a script, bash script or something, you'll need to make it executable. And I'm not going to show you that in this tutorial, but I'll show you in a next or later tutorial. So we're going to nano hello world, and I'm just going to type hello world. This is my first bash text file created in nano. I'm gonna press enter and just write cool bananas because I feel like it. And we can save that file by pressing Control O. You can see all these options we have down here. So Control O to write it out, press enter, and Control X to exit that program. Now let's clear our screen. And we can see what files that are in our home directory by typing in the ls command, and you can see that we've got the desktop folder, but we've also got this hello world that we didn't have before. Now we can cat that up and hello world, see what's in that file, and as you can see our terminal printed what we just wrote. So I'm going to make a directory because our documents are looking a little bit messy and I want to clean them up. So we can make a directory by typing mkdir, the directory name, so I'm going to call it docs, and press enter, and ls, and as you can see that we've now got a blue font folder. So we're going to move our hello world text file to docs. So we can do this by typing mv. This is move or rename, depending on what you do with it. So we're going to move hello world, our file here, and we're going to move it into the docs slash. That means we're referring to that folder, and then we're going to refer to the file name. So hello world. So this doesn't rename it docs slash hello world. It moves it into docs and then names it hello world. And press enter, and we'll see that our hello world text file that was there before but now has disappeared. So if we change our directory to docs and ls that, and we can see that we have that hello world file in there now. And if we cut that out, so you can cd ... to go back to our home directory. And I can show you something else. We can type ls and then docs, and that will ls the docs folder, not this folder, because we're referring to the docs folder here. but I find it a lot easier to work in the directory that I'm doing my stuff in, so you don't have to write all those long commands. Now I'm just going to show you some few random commands that I wasn't able to interrogate into this tutorial. So I'm going to show you the ifconfig command, and this will print out all your interfaces, your network sort of information here. As you can see, I've got an IP address here. Pretty sure that's my MAC address, that's my network mask, and that sort of thing. We can also type in the ping command, www.google.com, and you can see that Google is replying. So we'll cut that command. And what else? Alright, so I think that's basically it. The jobs command will tell you how many jobs you're running in the terminal, but we're not currently running any commands. The less followed by the file displays a page at a time. The head will display the top part of the text file, and the tail will display the bottom part of the text file. What else have I got? PWD will print out your current path that you're in. Where CP will copy a file to another folder or to a different name. Just like it works just like the rm command. If you specify a folder, it will move into that folder. And we also have some commands like the wildcard. So this asterisk will wildcard. So if you don't know the whole name of a folder, you can use that command. Anyway, that's it for today's tutorial. I'm gonna have some links to some better sites that will give you a better tutorial on using the terminal. Next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do some Wi-Fi hacking, which will be fun and interesting, unlike today's tutorial, which may have been a little bit boring. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Please go through this whole tutorial and just use the same commands and learn them off. Be comfortable using them, because I presume you know this knowledge, and I'm not going to babysit you through these commands anymore. So as I said, I'm going to give you some links to some great sites that will have a list of these commands, or will give you great guidelines to use this better than I did. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoy these tutorials. Please subscribe, like my video if you do like my video, and tell your friends and family about my videos if they have an interest in InfoSec or hacking. And I hope you enjoyed it. Piper out.